Welcome to PowerCat Live. I am here with Matt Farmer, my fellow PowerCat. Hey, Matt.
Hello.
So, Matt, you work on the part of PowerCat that focuses on Power Virtual Agents. How did you get into this role? What's your path here?
So I've been at Microsoft quite a long time. So I started way back on Christmas Eve 2007, I think it was.
Thanks for getting the date.
It's a memorable day. I remember that particular day. And I started Microsoft as a consultant for application development. And then I kind of thought, well, I've worked at Microsoft a little while, so I'll try going and working, where Microsoft builds its products. So I then jumped across and worked in Azure. So I've worked in the API management team and the Logic Apps team. And then last year I moved into PowerCat, working with Power Virtual Agents. Chatbots, obviously, big, new, exciting area. And also, I suppose it brings together, just before I kind of joined Azure, I was doing a lot of AI and things like that. And then join that with kind of Power Platform things like Power Automate, which is very similar to Logic Apps, obviously. It seemed like a very good match for me. And I love working with customers and helping them be successful. So that's what our team does.
I'm sure there's probably a few sub-stories within there if we were to dive inside that 13 years. But the path makes sense since Power Virtual Agents is built on Azure and all those capabilities that you have such deep experience in. And I'm sure it was your dream one day to work on chatbots as well.
It's been really exciting. I mean, it's if you think about chatbots, they've only really been around for 4 or 5 years. We've only had the technology to be able to understand what a human says and be able to process it and then say, you mean this. People forget how new an invention that is. And so it's still a burgeoning area. It's still developing really quickly. And that adds a lot of excitement to it. And I think that's, when we talk to customers about these things, it's still a new possibility for them. They're still sometimes amazed by suggestions of saying, well, have you thought about doing this? Or if we do this, what impact that will have on your business? And that's really exciting.
So it sounds like what you're saying is I should be more patient with my Alexa because this technology is so cutting edge.
They're not perfect yet, right? I suppose when they get perfect, then we get a little worried because maybe don't know you're talking to a bot. We're not quite there yet, but we can build some pretty great experiences with just the bot. But yes, it's not going to do everything perfectly just yet.
and so that leads us into what we're here to talk about, which is measuring bot performance. And so why is it so important that we go back and we measure how our bots perform?
I think it's absolutely right. I think more than almost any if you think of a bot as like a user interface, right? As in it's the end point of a bunch of systems that you have in the back end. But as you get telemetry on that bot, you see what exactly people put in, and you see exactly what happened to them once they put that data in. And that, obviously you can track things like clicks through an app. But bot seems to be even more visceral because you have this, here's exactly what the user typed in and here's what happened to them. And you can react to that really quickly. And I think PVA is a really great example of that, as in we get reports and then we can go and react to those reports really quickly and make the customer experience better almost in real time if we want to.
So for Power Virtual Agents, PVA, the low-code chatbots and Power Platform, you've built a layer on top of them for some custom analytics.
That's right.
So talk about what this provides.
Sure. So based on what I was just saying there, if you are using PVA day in, day out, if you're going into the portal, you can look at the analytics there. But quite often you want to maybe show your boss how you're doing, or you want to be able to build reports on the data we provide that are specific just for you. So taking that data out of PVA and giving you kind of a canvas to build your own custom reports, share them with whoever you want, is something that we get a request from lots of our customers. So we went ahead and with those requests built, there you go, fantastic, it's right in front of me. This is the Power BI report that we've built for PVA Custom Analytics. And what this allows you to do is this pulls the data from Dataverse. So every PVA customer, every PVA bot is saving its bot data in the Dataverse database. What this does, it makes it really easy to pull that data in, so you can then share this report with whoever you want. But you can also, if you look on the right-hand side here, all the telemetry, all the trace data that PVA puts out, you can query that however you wish. So, for example, you can look at how did the bot recognize what somebody said, and look at what things people were saying. Now, that data is in the trace data, but isn't something that is in the base report that PVA has. This allows you to do that really easily.
And so what are the questions that your customers answer with this dashboard that they wouldn't be able to answer with what's available in the baseline dashboard?
There's lots of data here, but let me give you an example. I can go and build a new report. The base one that you just saw is the one that comes with PVA out of the box. But what you don't have is this data here. I'll just expand this out so you can see. So we have a whole bunch of trace data. This is in Dataverse, is saved in JSON format. So it's kind of a big, long stream of data. This report makes it really easy to get access to it. So I can look at what the trigger utterance was. So that's what the person said to actually make a conversation start. Now, that's a bit small on the screen there, but hopefully you can see there's lots of things that people were saying there, like good afternoon, where's my local branch, stores near me, things like that. So I can look at what people have said, and I can also do things like import the score that PVA gave it. Each time you say something to PVA, it looks at all the things it has stored, what we call topics, and it scores what you said as to whether it's a good match for that topic. So we can bring across this data here and add this into the report really easily. So I can then look at, well, do I have certain things that customers are saying that we are not scoring very highly because we don't have the right trigger topics, or this is something new that customers are asking us for? This data is all in here, and if you have other things that you want to query on it that your bot has done, it's all available for you to build out. But that's just a very simple example of how you can get access to something that isn't by default in PVA's user interface, but with this report, it's easy to get access to.
You mentioned all the data is stored in Dataverse. So this is actually built in Power Platform itself. How complicated is the solution that brings all this together?
Well, the good answer is it's not hideously complicated. It's actually really, really simple. And this little diagram is incredibly simple itself and shows
pretty
you
simple architecture. Yeah,
it's a simple architecture diagram. They say one of the goals of this was to really make it so that we didn't have to. You could quite easily build a solution in Azure that's doing things with Azure Data Factory, or batch scripts or various other things to process this data. You can do whatever you want with it, but we really wanted to make this a maker experience, make it simple for people to do, and it's built entirely with Power Platform. So what we do is we take the data from Dataverse, that's the database symbol on the left there. We use a technology called Power BI Data Flows. Now, data flows allow you to extract data. It's a tool like Power Query, if you're familiar with that, that's in Power BI, but it runs in the cloud. And so it takes the tables out, the base ones that we need for the solution, and presents them up to any Power BI report you wish. The Power BI report itself does a whole bunch of processing because the data we've got is raw JSON, and what we need to do is turn it into a nice format so you can build the report you saw. So what we do is we extract the trace data, we aggregate a bunch of it, and then we put it into the right format. But basically, it's as simple as extracting the data, transforming it, and there's your report, which you can then publish. So most customers who've tried this out get it set up in kind of 10 minutes. It's wow. It's not a long process. And the other good thing is you don't need any extra licenses or anything like that. As long as you've got a license to use a Power BI report, you can import the data and try this out.
So it looks like there's a lot of potential for this. What do you have planned next for this feature?
There's a bunch of things I want to do with it. The good thing is this is an open source solution. So this is shared. I think we'll share the URL, but it's shared on GitHub. So people can contribute back to it if they have particular report topics, for example, that they find really useful and they want to share them. But the other thing we can do is things like supporting a lot longer range of data. So you can do things like data warehousing, the reports that come out. And for super high report loads, you can also connect to Azure Synapse that can do a bunch of the data processing. So it's really widening the scenarios that this can be used in for high scale or long data retention. But as I say, anybody can start with this report, contribute back if they wish, and we can grow the solution together.
And then finally, you mentioned that it takes 10 minutes to install this. So that means in the time people have been watching this, they could have already had it installed.
Exactly. If they go back to the beginning, they could have started then.
It's too late now. So where do they go if they want to spend another 10 minutes and actually have this up and running?
I think the URL is aka.ms/PVA analytics. We'll put that somewhere, but go to that URL. It's a GitHub with the README with all the instructions to get this set up. Basically, as long as you have access to Dataverse, you then create the data flow, import it into the report, and there's the base version of this template. So it really doesn't take too long, but obviously people can submit issues and comments and things like that on GitHub if they find different or recommend changes or want to help.
That's perfect. Well, Matt, thanks so much for taking the time to show this. This is a great way to make our bots even better, and pretty soon they will dominate us.
No, absolutely. It's just one more step on the path there, Phil.